Well, greetings, Business 20 students. This is Mr. Doucette. This is week number 2 in our 8-week course in business mathematics here at Norco College. And this week you're going to be looking at 2 chapters, chapter 6 and chapter 7. Chapter 6 deals with percents, which is extremely important because most things in business are given as percentages. And so we need to learn how to convert to percentages, from fractions to percents, from decimals to percents, things like that. And then chapter 7 deals with what we call trade and cash discounts. These are things that businesses will often give you when you buy in bulk or if you pay off your credit early, things like that. And so these are very valuable and very much common in business today when it comes to, getting you discounts. And we'll talk all about discounts, marking up and marking down items in chapter 8, which will be next week. But this week we start with that. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Here I am in the home page in Canvas, and we're going to scroll down here to where we come to module number 1. Now remember, this class is an 8-week class with 4 modules, which means every module is 2 weeks. So all the work within that 2-week module must be done by the end of the 2nd week, which would be this Sunday coming up. But if you look here, last week you did your initial check-in assignment where you introduced yourself. You did a pre-test assignment where you did a test on math, and automatically you get 10 points for both of those. Then you started your case study number 1. Now that's going to continue on to this week. So I'm going to grab that and scroll it down here, and I'm going to add it to this list here. And then of course you had your first quiz on chapters 3 through 5, which were the 3 chapters that you studied in week number 1. Now as we move into week number 2, here is your read first section, so make sure you watch the announcement video, which you're doing right now. There's a read me first for week 2, talking about how these particular mathematical processes tie into business as a whole and how to do some of those. Then there's also a help Sienna button, so it kind of puts it in the context of Sienna's health and fitness company. So you'll see how these principles fit into her company. And so read that, and then as you get going, once you've done those 2 things, you have to mark them both as done, by the way, before you can do any of the work below. But then you're going to go into our study section. So for each chapter, as you know, I have a study page, and the study page has, YouTube videos. It has me working out some of the problems. It has the areas of the textbook that you should be studying, etc. So it's really just a page that has a lot of resources to help you study. Also, the PowerPoints are there, and the PowerPoint also works through some of these problems for you. So I would start with chapter 6, review that, read some of the content, try some of the problems, see if you get to the point where you understand it, and then move on to chapter 7, do the same thing. And then there's a formula sheet for chapter 6 and 7. So now we're starting to get into some formulas, so make sure you review that and that you utilize those formulas in solving the problem. And then there's I think this is the first time I included it, but there's tips for word problems. So this is where I show you what are the best steps for solving word problems, which eventually all of your problems will be word problems in this course. So you might want to read that. And I actually include that in every week's study page. And then you get into our coursework. So this Thursday coming up at 10 a.m., I am going to spend time online in Zoom going over working out percent problems. And if we have time, working out some of these trade and cash discount problems. So if you can join me at 10 a.m., all you need to do is click this link right here, and it'll bring you to a page where there is a link to join me. Actually, it's automatically going to bring you into Zoom. So you can just select that, and it'll bring you right into Zoom. And then I will be there at 10 o'clock on Thursday. So join me there if you can. I already put that. And then we have our first official check-in assignment. Now I want to take a little time explaining this. So you did an initial check-in assignment where you just introduced yourself, but this week you're going to start getting into kind of the heart of my class, and that is you're going to help Sienna solve some specific problems that relate to the topic that we're covering. So for instance, you're going to help Sienna with some percent problems, and you're going to help Sienna with some trade and cash discount problems, and it's all put in the context of her business. So what the check-in assignment is there's multiple of questions, probably about 5 or 6 questions that relate to Sienna's business that you're going to solve using what you've learned in chapter 6 and chapter 7. And the way that I do the check-in assignments is if you turn it in by Thursday night, it's not due until Sunday, but if you turn it in on Thursday, I will grade it before Sunday, and that way you can see, you know, where I'll give you all the answers. I'll give you how to work out the problems if you got them wrong. If you did them all right, I'll say, great job, you're on the right track. If you got some wrong, I'll give you the answer sheet with all the answers and how to work out the problems. And so if you do it after Thursday night, maybe on Friday or Saturday, I may or may not get to you. And certainly if you do it on Sunday, I probably won't give you any feedback until the next week. And by then, you're done with everything for that week. So please do this earlier rather than later. It gives you a chance to kind of figure out how to work the problems out, and then I give you firsthand feedback right away. There's also a quiz on chapters 6 and 7, so I encourage you to complete that. And again, there's fill-in questions that I have to grade, so give me 24 hours. Sometimes I do it a lot quicker, but I usually check once a day in this class to see what quizzes I need to grade, and I'll grade it within 24 hours. So the sooner you do it, the sooner you'll get your feedback from me. But not all the problems are multiple choice. There's many fill-in problems, and so be prepared for that. I give you unlimited time on completing it, but I just want to make sure you know that it isn't going to just be a list to choose from. You have to come up with your answer and submit it, and then I will grade it. So keep that in mind. And then you're going to be completing this case study for Sienna. So all you're doing with this one is based on chapter 4, and you are helping Sienna choose a bank. So which one of these 4 banks is going to give her the least amount of fees is really what you're trying to determine. So it's going to be due on 9/2. I had the dates wrong in there. And I'm going to go ahead and change the date down here to being due on the 1st of September. So let me do that. It's already there. And then I'm going to go ahead and change this to finish. Finish case study number 1. So, all right, that should do it. So that is what you need to be working on for week number 2. This class has 2 exams. One's going to be at the end of week 4, and then the other is going to be at the end of week 8. So this week, all you have, again, is the quiz, the check-in assignment, and then the case study. So that's it. If you have any questions, issues, or concerns, make sure that you join me in my office hours or join me